You are having dinner. Your phone is face down. You did that deliberately. You wanted to be present. 90 seconds later, your hand reaches for it anyway. No vibration, no notification, no sound. You unlock it. Nothing. Exactly what you expected. You lock it again. Now, here's the strange part. If I asked why you checked, most humans would say, I don't know. On my world, we classify this as a system error. We only query a source when we expect new information. But humans keep checking even when they're almost certain nothing has changed. So I stopped asking, why do humans check their phones? Instead, I asked a stranger question. What changes inside you between deciding not to check and checking anyway? Naturally, I blamed boredom. That seemed obvious. Nothing interesting is happening, so your brain reaches for stimulation. Case solved. Except, I kept seeing humans do this in the middle of interesting moments. Halfway through conversations, during movies, while laughing with friends. Sometimes, they'd interrupt a genuinely enjoyable moment to look at a screen showing exactly what it showed 2 minutes earlier. That didn't look like boredom, because boredom waits for empty moments. This interrupted good ones. So my first theory failed. Maybe it wasn't boredom. Maybe it was simply habit. Humans repeat behaviors automatically all the time. Reach into pocket, unlock, lock, pocket again. Easy. Except habits are usually steady. This wasn't. The checking suddenly became more frequent after sending an important message, waiting for exam results, after a first date, before hearing back from a job interview. Something emotional was amplifying it. So habit wasn't enough. Next theory. Rewards. Psychologists have shown that unpredictable rewards can become incredibly compelling. Sometimes there's nothing. Sometimes there's a message. Sometimes there's news that changes your day. Phones resemble slot machines. That explanation felt promising. Until dinner. Remember dinner? You had already checked. You already knew nothing new had arrived. There wasn't even uncertainty about the reward anymore. And still, you checked. 3 explanations. 3 failures. Something deeper had to exist. Let's not talk about psychology yet. Instead, I'd like you to try something. For the next 20 seconds, don't touch your phone. Seriously, just leave it where it is. What happened? Maybe nothing. Or maybe something tiny appeared. A faint curiosity, a quiet pull, an almost invisible thought. What if something happened? Now imagine this. You send someone an important message. Hours pass. No reply. You tell yourself you're fine. But every few minutes, your thumb reaches for the same screen. Not because you expect certainty, because you're trying to escape uncertainty. Psychologists have studied this for years. One well-supported idea is that humans experience unresolved uncertainty as psychologically uncomfortable. Checking your phone doesn't always produce new information. Sometimes it produces relief. Just 3 seconds of it. The notification wasn't always the reward. Sometimes the reward was the temporary silence inside your own mind. Once I understood that, I realized I'd been studying the wrong object. I thought humans were checking their phones. They weren't. They were checking themselves. Of course, this isn't true every single time. Sometimes you're genuinely expecting a message. Sometimes it's habit. Sometimes you're just bored. But think about those moments when you know nothing has changed. And you check anyway. Perhaps you weren't looking for information at all. Perhaps you were looking for relief. On my world, we don't rush to resolve uncertainty. We record it. We wait, sometimes for days. Watching humans taught me something unexpected. Your species doesn't merely dislike uncertainty, you negotiate with it constantly. And perhaps that's why your phones became so powerful. Not because they connect you to everyone else, but because, for a moment, they disconnect you from uncertainty. I searched your screens for answers unseen, expecting the truth to glow from the machine. But the signal I found was quieter than tone. The thing you reached for was never the phone. Have you ever unlocked your phone, already knowing there'd be nothing there? If so, what do you think you were really searching for? I'm Zaffrin, reporting for The Thinking Point.